Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Amanda here, your plant-based lifestyle physician and health coach who is here to educate and empower you to make healthy decisions so that you can live your most abundant life. Well, as you know, the information that we give on this video is just for informational purposes and education only. If you have any specific questions about your own medical health, you need to contact your own healthcare provider. All right. So today we have Dr. Cindy Croy, who is going to introduce us to a few little cooking tips and give us a short recipe to actually try to make at home, and that's healthy and good for us. So Dr. Croy, would you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm a family physician, currently retired from medicine. I started learning how to cook when I was around 40 years of age. My kids were young, but they wanted to stay home and play all the time. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And one of my friends insulted me by saying that I didn't really know how to cook. I just warmed things up. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know how to cook. And then I got to thinking about it. She was right. So in an effort to prove her wrong and feed my kids healthier food and entertain myself, I started trying to figure out how to cook. I got a new recipe or cookbook for my birthday present that year, and I just started through it trying to learn. Learning how to cook is a matter of experimenting a lot. You mess up a lot, but you make sure there's always peanut butter in the cabinet so there's food to eat, and you just kind of play with it. At least that's my philosophy. Currently I have a website where I post recipes with detailed instructions in plain English so that people who, like me, who didn't grow up in the kitchen learning all of the cooking terms can figure them out, and you can read them and understand what you're supposed to do and try things and teach yourself to cook. In fact, that's the name of my cookbook, is If You Can Read, You Can Cook. So if you are interested in that, it's on my website, drcindysrecipes.com, and Dr. Amanda will put the contact information in the show notes and all of that. So you can sign up for my newsletter, get a new recipe every week. There's videos, all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to make today is almond butter protein bars is what we decided the name of the recipe is. And it's really easy. It took me about 20 minutes to get out all of the ingredients this morning. Normally, when I make this, I don't put them in little bowls. I just dump them all into this big bowl. So I would have been almost done in 20 minutes. But I put them out so that you can kind of see what I do. So the first thing I do is I mix up the spices, because I find if you put them in later on, and this is something you learn by experimenting and like messing things up, and you're like, how could I fix that? But if you stir them up first, they get a little more evenly distributed. So I like to put the dry ingredients in. I've got cinnamon and salt in this bowl right here. These are the pumpkin seeds, which are in the recipe. That's, I want to say half a cup, but you have to consult the recipe and see. And then oatmeal. You don't want to use steel cut oats for these recipes because they don't absorb the moisture and get soft like if you're going to make oatmeal in the crock pot overnight or overnight oats, steel cut oats are best. But for this kind of thing, you want the rolled oats.
Okay, good tip.
So, yeah. So I'm mixing up the spices, all the dry ingredients, and then I'm going to add the dates because they're a little harder to mix. They usually glob up like this. The original recipe calls for figs, and I had dates in my freezer, so that's what I used. I think probably you could use almost any dried sticky fruit.
Okay.
I haven't experimented with that yet, so I'll get back to you on that. As I experiment, I usually add tips at the notes at the bottom of my recipes on the website. Oh, you could also use this.
Nice. Okay.
Kind of share the things that I learn. So those are gonna be be a little more annoying to stir up. Kind of break up the glob. And that's part of why this recipe works, because the dates are sticky and they help stick things together.
Okay.
Plus they add an element of sweet, which is not overpowering, but makes it more interesting. Okay, so chia seeds are in this recipe. And the thing about chia seeds is if you eat them just dry or put them in something, they can often give people diarrhea. So it's better to moisten them in something. And I put them in just a little bit of water. They turn into this kind of gel thing. And so they're kind of soft, mushy, but that'll help mix things up here.
Yes.
And then, and that kind of releases the protein, and they're very filling. Chia seeds are really nice for that. So this is honey, which I've measured out, and this honey has been in my cabinet for a while, so it's kind of sugared. Doesn't make it bad, it just doesn't pour very easily.
Okay.
You can always warm it up in the microwave to make it a little more liquidy. So we do that. And then the last thing is the almond butter. And I like to use flexible plastic spatulas for this kind of stuff because you can see it gets in the edges of the measuring cup a little better.
Yes.
All right.
It's already looking really good over here.
Well, good. Yeah, I really like these almond protein bars. And the ones you buy in the store, they often have a lot of weird ingredients that you don't know what they are.
Yes.
Artificial things. And that's kind of my main dietary principles. I don't like to eat fake food.
Right.
Real food. And so all of my recipes, I don't use anything pre-prepared. Starting out, I used a lot of canned soups and things, but I've learned that's just kind of the progression and how you learn things.
Exactly.
Right. So the magic ingredient in this stuff is chocolate, like chocolate chips. You could use carob or whatever you like. And these are dark chocolate chips and coconut oil. Stick it in the microwave for a few seconds. And that gives you a nice chocolate coating on the top, which makes them taste amazing.
Okay.
In the microwave.
Yes. Definitely excited.
Those are definitely the magic to this recipe.
Okay.
I was thinking about that method of doing a chocolate coating. So you could use that on lots of things and cut down the sugar in your desserts even.
Yes. So I like that your recipes are whole food, real foods, because that's where we get all the nutrients and not that fake stuff.
Yeah, I just can't help thinking that all the chemical stuff has got to be part of our problem with all of our obesity issues and our weight control issues and
all our chronic diseases that I tell people about. Yes.
Yes. All of that. All right, so I'm getting this mixed up. Like I said, the dates make it a little hard to stir, so you have to kind of put what my dad used to call elbow grease into it.
Yes.
Yeah, he grew up in Oklahoma, so that's close enough to the South to have some weird sayings.
Yeah, I mean, we would say that in Indiana too.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's fairly consistent texture and mixture. So I'm just going to dump it. Now, I cheat and use my silicone loaf pan because it makes it easier to get things out of.
Okay.
And you put it in parchment paper, wax paper works too. Or probably with the silicone pan, I wouldn't need the paper. Like I said, it's a little bit easier to get it out. And then you just use your hand. That's the other thing about cooking. You have to not be afraid to get your hands dirty. They do wash with soap and water. So
Yes, yes.
again, mash it all down, make it fairly even. And people do this with a spatula or something, some sort of tool, but I have trouble getting that to work easily, and then it's something else to wash.
Right. So I love how simple this is for us that don't like to cook.
Yeah, and see, so my chocolate is not completely melted, but the coconut oil is. And when you're melting chocolate, you want to be real careful not to overdo it because it burns really easily. So I put it in for 30 seconds and it's kind of warm, so I'm stirring it a bit to see if it'll just go ahead and melt, because sometimes it will. So it looks like it's going to be a little more. I just I'll put that in the microwave.
Yes. I love how you said that, like, you did things and it was a lot of trial and error. So what we know, we don't have to be perfect every time we do things. Yeah.
As long as you have peanut butter in the pantry, it doesn't matter. If it's a total fail, you can have a peanut butter sandwich.
Yes,
Or
yes.
a spoonful of peanut butter. You don't even have bread.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, my husband is a has a degree in chemistry, and so he always says, well, you know, you're putting the chemicals together to make the reactions, and I'm like, that's thinking too much. Let me just play with it.
I know. It's like you're making it too complicated for us here now.
That's right. I mean, I have some degrees, but I don't want to have to pull out my chemistry book just to make dinner.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, that's looking good.
Yeah, it's looking better. And they're still a little lumpy, but if I stand here for a second and keep stirring it, then it'll get smooth.
Yes.
All right. See, it's pretty smooth now. Can you tell?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
All right.
Oh, wow.
And once again, I'm using a kind of a silicone floppy spatula, a little bit floppy spatula to scrape all the goodness out, because you don't want to leave any chocolate behind.
Yes, get it all the yumminess.
On this one, I will use the spatula because I want the chocolate on my food, not stuck to my fingers.
Oh my gosh, so much healthier bars than you could just pick up at the store and quick to make. I love this.
Yes. Now they will be a little bit sticky. Mm-hmm. So if you want to take them in your lunch or whatever, you want to put them in a bag or some sort of container, because that's the only problem with trying to take them. They're a little sticky. Okay. It's like I should have doubled the amount of chocolate on this batch. So anyway, there they are.
Oh, wow.
Put them in the fridge, and then in about an hour and a half, they'll be solid. And I'll lift this parchment paper out and take my knife and slice it up into whatever serving sizes I want and start eating them.
Yay! Wonderful. See, that was quick, easy, and healthy, right?
Yes.
So that is what we love. Start
to finish, it'll take you 30 minutes. And most of my recipes are that, because I developed most of them while I was trying to hurry and get food on the table.
Yes.
People, if I'm hungry, I want to eat now. I don't want to wait 2 hours later.
That's me. That's me. I love that. I love that. Because I'm like, if I look on the recipe and it says, 45 minutes to prepare, I'm switching the page. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Now I have a few that I'll do some steps ahead of time, or things like that, but for the most part, 30 minutes.
Yes. Every day we want everyday types of things. Yes. Well, Dr. Cindy, what are a few tips that you can give us non-cookers, I would say, not a word, but that you would say that we would want to know to, prepare healthy meals quickly in the kitchen for our family?
Well, I think the most important is what we've talked about, is to just look at it as an experiment and you're going to learn. Don't be afraid of it. It's food. For the most part in the US, it's not that expensive. If you have to throw it out and start over, oh well. If you have to eat peanut butter, oh well.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, and you've learned something. So look at it as an experiment. What can I figure out? Try new things, that kind of stuff. Just be curious about it. And
Yes. I definitely agree, because it's I think my lentils, from the first time I made them to now, it was like my husband was like, you're not quite there. And then I was like, oh yeah, these are perfect. So yeah, I definitely agree. Just continue to try, do a little experiment. Like I said, don't be afraid to throw it away and keep going. Yes. So thank
I've
you.
been at this 18 years or so, and I still have flops. They're not as often as they used to be.
Yeah.
But it'll be like, I didn't get enough salt in there, or too much hot pepper in this dish. We eat it anyway. It's okay.
Right. Just have a little water on the side. That's it. All right. So yes, I will definitely link in the show notes about your website and cookbook. I was scrolling through there myself, like, oh yes, definitely want to do that. And I saw that you had cooking classes. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I teach individual and group lessons. I can sit with you for a couple hours and we can do some meal planning, that kind of stuff. All the links are on my website. I also am planning to do some meal prep classes for free, just kind of as a demonstration. Meal prep is something I've been trying to learn about. And figure out, and I'm happy to share what I've learned and share the process. So I'm probably going to do those about once a month. But if you sign up for my email list, I'll email you every week with the new recipe, and then that's where you'll find out when those free classes are going to be.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, we definitely.
There's a button on my website that says sign up, and that's how you learn about that.
Okay. So I'll link all that in the notes so everyone can know where to find you, and definitely sign up for those meal prep classes, because I actually, push that for people. Like if you have it ready, then you're less likely to grab something that's not healthy for you. Yes. So wonderful. All right. And do you have social media, or is everything usually on your website?
I also have Instagram, which is Dr. Cindy's Recipes, I think. .com. I'm going to have to memorize that. And then I have a YouTube channel, which is also Dr. Cindy's Recipes. And there's short videos on there, which are fun and usually have the recipe attached.
Excellent.
During the video, so you can pause it and go.
Wonderful. Yeah. All right. Well, I will link all that so everyone can just have a simple click and find you in multiple places. And thank you once again, Dr. Cindy, for showing us how to make these almond butter protein bars quickly and healthy, right?
Thanks so much for having me on today.
All right. Thank you.